just wait for a few cars to move before we start talking and embarrassing ourselves. It's literally people parked right opposite me and I just want them to leave and then I'll start talking. Hey dudes, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Before we get into today's video, I just wanted to quickly explain what it is and maybe give a few disclaimers as well. Last week I had quite a low mental health day and also a low spiritual day, so the video you're about to see is really me just in the moment spontaneously telling you all about that in a very honest way, but what you won't see in the video is me sort of coming out of that and feeling much better, and I'm still kind of processing things and working through them, but that's okay, we're all on a journey with this kind of thing. And also what you won't see in this video but you will see in next week's video is some practical tips, ways to help you try and get out of feeling like this if that's something that you relate to. So that will come next week in much more of a normal style, here on Now and Forever, where we have lots of numbers and tip number 1, tip number 2, that sort of thing. This video is very different to that. And also I'm saying that because I don't want it to come across like this is just me dumping all of my feelings on you and you guys just having to deal with that, because that's not what this channel's about. This channel is not the Gemma show, it's all about God and it's all about you guys as well. So this video in itself is kind of here, it is just me talking about me and how I'm feeling, but I hope that there's value in that and that it shows that life is hard for everyone and everyone has to nurture their mental health, and sometimes we're at lower points than others. And I also just want to clarify that in this video I do talk about weight, so if that's something that is difficult for you, that triggers you in a negative way, then please watch with caution or just don't watch at all. Just come back next week where we'll do those practical tips I mentioned. And also when I talk about that, I am being hypercritical of myself, and the judgment that I hold over myself in this sense is not really something that you could compare to the way that I would think about other people's weight. So I just wanted to make those things really clear before you guys watch this video. But with that being said, here it is. So I hope you guys find this helpful and relatable, and I'll see you in next week's video. Hey dudes, how's it going? Welcome back to, oh my gosh, probably the most unplanned video I've ever done. I literally planned this like 5 minutes ago on the drive here, which is why I'm filming this in a car park. That is never the plan, but I'm having a bad day, so I've decided to lay out all my insecurities on the table and just tell you what's going on. I just found myself needing a self-care day today, and that's come in lots of different genres. What am I talking about? I've just needed to do some self-care, and that's exercise itself in different ways. I started off this morning just lying in bed. Like, I woke up and I just lied in bed for like an hour and a half playing this dual quest game, which is a phenomenal game, and I'm almost on level 4000. It's called Fishdom, it's the best. But I'm just feeling so low today, so I started watching some YouTube videos, started watching some declutter videos, because having so many clothes just stresses me out, and I've decluttered like 5 times this month, and I was just like, no, I've just got to accept the fact that I'm not losing weight, I'm not gonna become fit enough to wear a lot of the clothes that I hope to when I become skinnier. It's not realistic or that healthy, so I've got 2 massive bin bags in the back of clothes just to go. And even like linked to that problem, I really hurt my ankle in the last week. I'll show you a picture. It was really swollen and really bruised from an exercise that I was doing to try and lose weight, and this big motivation to lose weight, doing these exercises every day, and then I just wobble to the ground shouting in pain and then crawling across the floor to the kitchen to get a bag of frozen peas. So ironically, just, you know, I'm just struggling with thoughts about my weight and how I look in clothes and not enjoying my clothes, and feeling like I've built myself up to have this big, I don't know, reputation, or people know that I'm interested in fashion, so it's difficult for me now trying to battle with feeling like my clothes aren't good enough, I don't look great, you know, people around me get a lot of compliments on stuff they're wearing, Meanwhile, I feel too overweight to wear the stuff I have. And balancing that with, well, does it really matter? Like, the Bible tells me, God says through his word that what we wear doesn't matter, what we eat doesn't matter. What's the point? So I'm trying not to care, but also I just feel like I've built up this big, I don't know, this big well-known part of me that really cares about that. So I feel kind of worried about what other people think if I suddenly just start dressing really naff. Which is silly, but I'm battling with it. And also, in having to get rid of these clothes, normally if me or my sister that I live with get rid of our clothes, we would let each other have a look through them first before we chuck them out to see if there's anything that we'd want. And I can't do that. She can't go through them, because if she goes through them and finds something that she likes and then she wears it, I know she'll style it really well. I know it will fit her better because she's skinnier than me, and I'm sure she'll get compliments on it. And I can't handle seeing that, or hearing that from other people complimenting her on it, when I know that it was mine and I had in my possession that thing that could have earned me compliments, but it didn't make me feel good, so I don't want it to make her feel good. I don't know. And I know it's silly, but I'm just laying cards out on the table, guys. I just want to be honest. And this morning I watched a lot of like Christian videos, because when you don't know what to do spiritually, or you don't know the answers, just search it up. That's what I do. If I want a Bible verse on, you know, does God love me, and I can't like think of them off the top of my head, I just Google verses about God's love, verses about this. I do it all the time. The con to that is that they're often out of context, so sometimes you then have to like read the passage around it. But I don't always know the verses for stuff, so I just Google it. So I didn't know exactly what to do about me feeling like I'm in a spiritual rut. So I YouTubed it, and I YouTube videos about trying to get out of a spiritual rut. And the first video I came across, I liked the thumbnail, the girl in it looked cool, clicked on it, and the first thing she was saying was, okay, so we're going to start with some sage burning. And I was like, oh, this is the wrong kind of spirituality. So then I found someone else who was actually talking about faith stuff in Jesus, which is what I wanted and needed. And one of the videos I found just said, just start by admitting that you're bored, which was kind of scary for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I am bored spiritually, because I'm not feeling much of God's excitement in my life. I don't feel really like joyful and excited to do a Bible study. So that was scary. That felt really wrong to admit, but it helped. And then there were other spiritual videos talking about the seeds and the weeds in your life, and what different things in your life, old things, trigger things today, and how God can reveal to you weeds in your life that you're not aware of. So I've suddenly become aware of this weed of jealousy, which I thought was just comparison, which is fine, but, well, it's not fine, but I was sort of processing that, and I'm like, oh man, no, it's jealousy, and that's not something I often deal with. So this is very new. So now I'm just like, I've labelled it, and now I'm pinpointing what it is, and that's hard. I don't want to be jealous, but you know. And the solution to my jealousy about like clothes and my body, comparing myself to other people, you know, some of my solutions were good, like unfollowing certain people on Instagram. That's helped. But I still have this issue about my weight and my daily workouts to try and get skinnier have now been taken away from me, because if I walk too much on my ankle, it hurts. So there's no way I can work out on it. So now I'm being forced to get to a better place with my body mentally, because I can't do it physically. And that's hard as well, because my mind is telling me that I'd be so much happier if I was just thinner, you know. And relationships wise, I'm having a bit of a relationship breakdown in my life, which is really unexpected and disappointing, and I'm struggling not to think about it. I'm losing sleep over it. When I try to sleep, I just think about it, and it's really difficult not to. and it's a hard one to resolve, partly because it came up in an attempt to resolve a different situation. So that gives me less confidence that a conversation would help, when it was kind of meant to be a constructive conversation that actually broke it down a bit. So I watched a lot of Christian videos about it, about stuff. I just picked ones that I wanted. Some about trusting God, some about being a spiritual rat, some about trying to see yourself the way that God sees you and how to do that. And now I'm in a car park because when I feel like this, I need to write stuff down and sit with God. So I come to Costa to do that for an hour. So I might do a bit of a Bible study. I'm doing Matthew at the minute, just going through each chapter and writing what I've learned about it. Often I come away with a lot of questions, and I'm just gonna maybe write out a prayer, write how I'm feeling, make a note of the fact that God is calling me up on jealousy, and try and challenge myself to have the right mindset about it, and to ask myself, well, what does God say about all these things I'm struggling with? What does God say about broken relationships? What does he say about my worth and my body? What does he say about the value in clothes and materialism? So I just thought I'd be honest with you. I don't want to be someone who doesn't share but encourages you guys to share and be honest and blah blah blah. That's not good. So I hope this isn't oversharing. I hope it means something to you. Let's go.